Okay, and Brandy. Hello, Brandy. How are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
Good, good. And we have our chairperson, Mr. Ross.
Oh no.
One of my main jobs is preventing him from telling his bad jokes and writing more of his bad poetry.
I have a history teacher for that.
I'm
We're used to
crushed.
it.
I'm crushed.
You have to
How
have
do you guys, you know, if you welcome back those of you that are back for a second year, and hope the first year was fabulous as it was for us. Hopefully you felt the same way. We've enjoyed what we've been doing, and my hat's off to what you guys do as well. You've done a phenomenal job, those that you were there last year. So congrats and welcome back for yet another year. Thank you.
And we have Lauren. She's one of our returning interns. Everybody loves Lauren. And Sky, one of our new interns, a STEM scholarship winner from one of our clubs. So, and here's Zach. Okay. Okay, so I guess let's get started. So we're going to ask everybody to introduce themselves. Gary, I'll start with you.
My name is Gary Engelhardt. I'm one of the co-program managers of the STEM Day program. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession, and my wife and I, Gwen, own a project management consulting company where we work in the energy industry and also in manufacturing.
How about Dr. Rolf Schlake, our chairperson?
Oh my God. I'm Rolf Schlake. I graduated from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I have a couple of degrees, including a PhD in chemistry. And I enjoy very much dealing with kids. I do a fair amount of international travel, have a company. We're involved with packaging DNA forensic kits for Thermo Fisher, and we also we manufacture instrumentation in a technology called supercritical fluids. If you're a PChem guy, you know what that is. If not, it just boggles my mind too. That's it. So that's about it.
So Rolf has been invited to do a presentation for one of the chemistry classes at Kutztown in September. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay. I do a lecture tour to different universities, and I've done that internationally. I just did one recently here at Lehigh, and it essentially says the topic is supercritical fluids, not just for decaffeinating coffee anymore. So and I go through a whole variety of different kinds of applications.
Okay, how about Dr. Tony?
Okay, well, I'm Tony Moyer. I'm a principal in East Penn School District, Willow Lane Elementary School, and you're going to meet Ruth and Sean. They're both teachers that I've been working with, and I've been involved in education for many, many years now. Next year will be my 33rd year. So been principal at Willow Lane for the past 14 years. So it's my first year doing this, and I'm learning a lot. I think it sounds like a wonderful program, and everything is highly organized. And I just hope that I'll meet your expectations, because I know you are all so vested in this, and you have a great mission, and it's been so successful. And I hope to continue that success and help you with that.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to working with you. How about Ruthie? She has one of my favorite names. That was my grandmother's name.
Hi, I'm Ruthie. I teach at Willow Lane at Tony's school, and this is my first year in the STEM program, but I really enjoy doing STEM activities. I took a STEM certification through DeSales a few years ago and used to run an after-school STEM program for fifth graders. So I just really like the hands-on things, and I'm looking forward to it.
Super.
Thank you. How about Sean?
Sorry, I'm gonna keep it muted. I'm upstairs on the third floor where I have like a box AC. So it's
Okay.
The four-legged animals downstairs are unpredictable. So I came up here.
That's okay.
I My name is Sean, and I just finished my first year teaching fifth grade. It was my 10th year as a teacher. I did fourth grade previous with a focus mainly in math, which is my passion, and science, which I also love. So this will be my first year doing it, and I'm looking forward to having the time to actually give to STEM, because unfortunately with the way the schedules sometimes go at the elementary level, those things get kind of pushed to the side or to centers and things. So I'm looking forward to just kind of being there with students that want to be there, and having maybe as much fun, if not more than them. So yeah,
Super.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Great.
So my goal was to be a fourth grade teacher, but instead, the first year I taught, they put me in fifth grade. So
Mhm.
you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Steve Rhodes.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes. I just finished up my 30th year at the Wilson School District. This year, I'm the middle level curriculum supervisor. Before that, I was the assistant principal at West Middle School for 2 years. I was an instructional coach for 4.5, and I was a science teacher for 22.5 years, grades varying from 6 to 9. My background's in earth and space science with an emphasis in geology. I was lucky enough to be part of the program last year and had a great time working with great people and some really awesome kids.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah. Steve had some of the greatest experiments that we did, the sloppiest ones
Bet.
too.
Those are always the best.
Okay, how about Adam?
Hey, I'm Adam Molis. I actually teach in the same district as Steve Rhodes. I've been there for, where are we at here? This will be my 10th year going in. Before that, I was in Southwest Philadelphia teaching fifth grade, but always science and math. I did this last year and I really had a good time, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Thank you. And how
Thank
about
you,
Brandy?
Adam.
I'm sorry, say again?
How about Brandy?
Hi, I'm Brandy Solomon. I teach out in the Boyertown School District. I just finished up my 22nd year teaching, 20 of which have been in middle school. So I do have a background in biology. And yeah, I work at Boyertown, and then I also work for Discovery Education doing curriculum writing and writing of their science books. And I participated in this last year and had a lot of fun. So looking forward to another fun year again this year.
Thank you too, Brandy. Thank you.
And Lauren. Lauren is always a favorite with the kids.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I am a recent graduate from Kutztown University. I have a bachelor's degree in physics, and I did a lot of astronomy research. And actually, a couple of days after this camp, I'm moving to Lafayette, Indiana to pursue graduate astrophysics research at Purdue University. So
Wow.
that's really exciting for me. But also, I did this camp last summer and it was a lot of fun. I've always loved interacting with kids and teaching them about science. I also worked at Kutztown's planetarium for my entire undergraduate career and talked to easily thousands of children about astronomy. And so I'm just excited to be here.
Super. Thank you too.
What's Professor Reed going to do without you?
I don't know, freak out for like a couple of days and then figure it out.
She's his right hand. She's his right hand. Yeah. So Emily was her an intern also last year, and Emily went on to graduate school as well. So we're sorry that she can't get back, but we're happy where she is.
Yeah, she's at Louisiana State, and she actually got funding for doing research work over the summer. So that's like a big deal as first year graduate student.
Wow.
So we're happy for her about that.
Okay. Zach, he's one of our new interns. We're looking forward to learning more about you.
Hello, my name's Zach. I am going into my senior year at Kutztown for a bachelor in physics. I'm really excited about this. Lauren texted our group chat a little while back and basically gave us the laydown about this, and I was very excited about it. At Kutztown, we do a lot of like outreach programs with different groups, like Boy Scout groups. We do a Women in STEM event, and every time I get to interact with like the younger generation and just see how excited they are about engineering stuff and physics, and it's a breath of fresh air, you know, to say the
Mhm.
least, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. We're looking forward to
Great.
having you. And
Great.
Sky was recommended by one of our STEMIA team members, Al. She was a winner of a STEM scholarship from one of the Rotary clubs a couple of years ago. So Sky, would you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. I just finished my second year at Cornell and I'm studying material sciences and engineering. But I have passions in theoretical physics and astrophysics. So I'm generally all around physics person. But I love teaching. I love interacting just generally with the community. This is my first year doing this, but I'm extremely excited and I hope I can learn from everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. We're happy to have you with us. So Michael is also from Kutztown. He wasn't able to join us. Conlon is a repeat intern from last year. He'll be joining us. And Molly, who's another one of the scholarship winners, will be joining us as well. So I'm Gwen, and my responsibilities are registration, communication with the District 7430 of Rotary International, and also with the local clubs. I also have responsibility for outreach, project management and planning, and logistical support. So if there's ever anything that you want to know, I can usually connect you to somebody that can get you the answer. So
Let me quickly interject. This whole program would not be where it is if it wasn't for Gwen and Gary. They have pulled it all together. We can go ahead and take credit for it, but it would not have happened if it wasn't for Gwen and Gary. I thank them. We all thank them. Thank you, guys.
Well, we appreciate
appreciate
all
it.
of you being involved because it won't happen without all of us. So it's great to be with all of you this evening. So at this point, I'm going to ask Director Tony to tell us a little bit more about his expectations of the teachers and the interns. And he has one of his four-legged animals with him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He'll go away eventually. I first want to say I'm impressed with everyone's backgrounds. I mean, I know I'll learn a lot about the sciences from you because many of you are certainly experts in the area. So I'm very impressed. I'm a little humbled actually. But and what I'm going to share now, I think as good teachers, you already know a lot of this, but you know what I will look for, what I would always look for are you know instructors who are conscientious, who are going to deliver the lesson plans that are presented to you with fidelity. You know, of course, classroom management is going to be a part of that. And you're going to have smaller groups of students, and hopefully you'll be able to engage those students. So that shouldn't be an issue. But of course, as we know, classroom management is about relationships, and establishing relationships with those students early on will make your several days of working with them a lot easier. Again, as good teachers, you're going to know that, and you're going to do that instinctively. And with the interns, I mean, I guess with each teacher, I know each teacher might view it differently as far as how they want the interns to be involved. But I think establishing that with interns early on when you're assigned, so that they know what your expectation is. Some of you might want interns to be, you know, your right-hand person. Some of you might want your interns to just be there, looking out for certain students, to assist, to provide remediation, to provide enrichment, perhaps. Also, you know, always with it, whatever we're going to do, you know, you're going to want to look at assessment. In this case, it's not going to be formal, but just to get a handle on who's understanding and who's not, so that you can provide additional support if needed. Engagement is another big piece about teaching, as you know, and looking over the curriculum. Of course, I don't know it well yet because I haven't been immersed in it, but the curriculum that you have provided seems to be very hands-on. It seems to be very realistic. I don't think student engagement is going to be difficult at all because of the content and the material that you're using. And just like Sean said, and many others have mentioned, we don't often get the chance to do these types of things in the regular everyday occurrence at schools. And I think this is a way that we can really delve into the things that we really enjoy and take the time we want to get students involved and getting very immersed in inquiry-based learning, experimental learning. That's what's going to be most effective for them. Of course, preparation each day, knowing you have your materials, knowing what you're going to be teaching. We want to be prompt every day. We want to arrive on time. And just my role, and I'm going to be learning as well, but my job, in my opinion, is to be there to support whatever you're doing in the classrooms, and to do whatever I can to make sure that you have a successful experience with your students. And once again, I think it all boils down to relationships with effective teaching, and that's for me too. It's my job to get to know the students and get to know you as teachers, and to collaborate so that we can make this a very successful, enriching experience as it's been in the past, and I'm sure it will be this year as well.
So I will add that Dr. Tony is Rotarian, and that was important to us when we were looking for a director. We wanted somebody to espouse the same qualities and values as the other Rotarians. So that was really important when we went to look for someone who could be the director of this program. So I noticed that Conlon has joined us. Hello, Conlon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those folks that don't know you?
Yeah, I'm Conlon Gilmore. I recently just graduated with my bachelor's in 4 to 8 education for mathematics. And I'm also going for my STEM in education so I can also teach science. I'm an avid outdoors person. I love to be outdoors. I love to go fishing, hunting, going in the forest. It's all nice for me. And it's going to be a great year again. I'm excited for this year as well.
We're excited to have you back. I'm glad that you're still pursuing your dream.
Thank you.
So that's wonderful. So I guess I'll start with a little bit of open discussion. Any lessons learned from those who were a part of this last year? Anything that we should do differently? We're interested in hearing your observations and opinions.
It goes both ways, things we should do differently and things we definitely want to preserve. So.
I would have to say that, I mean, the lessons were very good. We made minor tweaks along the way. They were just little things. And anytime that you have a curriculum in front of you, you always want to be responsive to the students that you have in front of you. The one thing I think that caught us off guard, and Adam, I think I can speak to you and about you and Brandy with this. As far as the larger scale projects, the ones that they were doing, as far as the lander, the rover, those types of things, we weren't necessarily prepared initially to have the materials and to also be able to treat it. So we were a little bit behind the 8 ball. We didn't have all of the materials that we needed right away for those projects to happen successfully. Luckily, Stephanie did a great job last year. She got us the materials that we needed, and all of those projects were successful. But I think going into it this year, knowing and understanding those projects a little more, I think is going to go a long way toward our being able to be successful. Like I said, that was just the one thing that I don't know. Adam, Brandy, would you agree that that was something that caught us off guard a little bit?
100%.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also liked last year, we weren't sure how to group. So we decided last minute that we would group like 2 groups of students together. So there were 2 instructors together.
Right.
So like, the 2 guys went together, and then I think her name was Lauren, right?
Yes.
Lauren and I had gone together. And that was nice just to have extra eyes and extra hands circulating throughout the room. And it worked out well. Like it wasn't like too many students in a room.
Right. Now I think the space is large enough so that you can do that. And of course, this year with 60 students, we'll probably have 5 groups. So it's going to be an interesting adventure.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that as well. The fact that we've got so many, I won't say so many more, but we've got an additional student. How do you feel that will impact going forward? I just out of curiosity, what your thoughts are, especially Steve. What do you think?
Well, they'll have
as long as we have the additional rooms, and making sure that the rooms that we have are good rooms with respect to doing lab work in them. I know some of the rooms had lab tables, some of the rooms were more of a in a lecture type format. So when we look at those lessons that we have that we're going to be sharing with the students, we want to make sure that we match the type of lesson to the correct type of room. So for example, when I did that with the stream tables, I had to have those lab tables. There's no way that it would have worked. But when I did my second lesson, which was more about just them thinking about the trip itself, they were doing some graphing, that other classroom was fine. So we just need to make sure that we create a rotation within those lessons that makes sense and that the rooms match the lesson that you're trying to teach.
Right, I would agree. The one where I know Adam, you and Steve work together on the sort of parachuting thing. That's an example of where we could have used space differently, I think.
Correct. Yeah, the
Yeah.
zip
Well,
line.
I think that's an important observation, and I think this is what's going to be happening in the future. As we've seen, as the word has gotten around, we've seen more and more participation and more activity trying to to enter the program. So we need to be aware of that, and you guys obviously are. Thank you.
And I would
Yeah,
ask,
I think we discussed even like with the rover. I think there was the one rover where we were discussing maybe having sand or a different surface. Yeah, that the students could test it out on as compared to the regular linoleum. So even just having like a common testing area that students could take their device to go over and, try out and see how it works.
so we have one of our STEM team members who's also an engineer. And right after the program, he happened to be there that night when we were doing the rovers. And he was quite upset about the way that we did the rovers. So he sent me a test kit over last summer. So he has some suggestions as to how to make the rover differently. So again, all this is up to you and Tony. You teachers work with Tony and the interns to decide what rooms you want to use, how you want to use them, which modules you're doing. That's completely under your control. So.
Yep, and I'll go ahead and echo that as well. We may know a little bit about science, but we don't know how to go ahead and put that information in front of these 7th graders. We're counting on you to help us with that.
So in the next couple of weeks, you'll need to be really active, deciding modules, deciding the rooms, deciding the materials that you need. And we hope to do a much better job with obtaining the materials. It was a lot last minute last year. And again, Stephanie was under a lot of constraints. Both her mom and her dad were ill, and then her husband got ill. So she was really under some difficult conditions. So hopefully we can do better this year. And we're always open to suggestions.
Logistically speaking, also, when we have all of the students together, since there are more of them, that's just something that we need to take into consideration. For example, that the first night that we had them all together and there was the presentation that took place, even when we have the opportunity to have like the more evening type activities, just making sure that there are enough options for the students to be able to choose from, since there's now a larger number. So it's just anytime that you increase the numbers, you just want to make sure that you have enough for the students to do.
And that's already been one of my nightmares, is getting to 60 across the campus to you. So when we line them up in the morning, we have Dr. Michael Seidner who helps with that. And he's great, he's fabulous. But on Saturday, he has to leave to go to his high school reunion. So I'm trying to line up somebody for Sunday morning that can do the same logistical job. Because you guys don't know this, but we line them up in the basement of Lehigh. And we line them up by 15s. And then they go off in groups. Somebody in the front, somebody in the back, volunteers to get them 15 at a time over to you guys. This year it'll be 15 at a time to get to the dining hall, because we had some kids last year that ran to the dining hall. So we're trying to consider all those things that we learned.
So Gwen, when they would transition from one space to another, they were in generally more so in groups of 15 than one large group.
Yes, that's what we tried to do. It didn't
Good.
always work.
I think that's smart.
I think that's what I'd like to try again. And there was always that rush to the room downstairs where the sodas were. Remember, they had the cabinets with the vending machines. We tried to keep the kids out of there too as well. So that was something else. So we don't encourage them to bring money. So if they don't have money, they can't buy anything. Anybody else? I think these are great observations, similar to some of ours.
By the way, being up with them, I do the chaperoning, and the overnight, from the 2 to 6 graveyard shift or whatever, sitting in the halls. And I can tell you that by the end of the day, they're tired. They don't come out of their rooms. They are dead asleep. You've got them working like crazy and they are dead on their ass. They're asleep.
We get them up at 7, so we do have those monitors get them up. It's still going to be one teacher to a group, maybe 10 kids, 10 to 11, whatever number we come up with. As many volunteers as we can get for each group, and then the interns for each group. So under our Rotary Youth Protection, we still need to be with the kids all the time. We can't let them roam. even going to the bathroom, we need to be careful about, where they're going. So that'll be a responsibility for all of us. And if you see anything, just like last year, we had one student, I think he was in your class, Brandy, who had a meltdown. So fortunately, we had 2 teachers there. So one of you could go with the student having the meltdown, could take him outside, but we still had coverage in the classroom. So that worked.
Yeah, and all the helpers were awesome. So it's nice to see so many familiar faces back again because they did a phenomenal job last year.
Okay. So a couple things that are different this year. So I think I alluded to this. We're going to take all meals at the dining hall, main dining hall. So we need to plan appropriately to get the kids there and then get them back across the campus. So Tony and I have talked about making maybe a 20-minute walk across campus. Registration is tentatively set at 60. We had 65 apply, but as I said earlier, there was one principal who mass emailed his entire school. So we had some kids that wanted to come, but they don't belong to our Rotary district, so we had no way of funding that. We did buy 5 of those stream tables, so this will be a little bit easier for you, Steve. That was Steve Burnham's recommendation. So Rolf, you have the 5 stream tables, right?
Adam, I won't need your drill this year.
So Rolf,
I was thinking that, Steve.
Rolf, did you want to add anything to that?
I'm sorry I missed that because there was noise in my background here. I have 4-legged interferences as well. So I'm sorry. Go ahead and repeat that if you would. I'm sorry.
We do have the stream tables this year, and you have them.
We have a student.
Stream tables.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I have. They are in my office. I have all of that. I picked that all up, and it will be there available. Absolutely.
We will still, I'll say that in the next part, then what's the same conference room. Okay, we are the only camp on the north side of the campus. The group that was kind of a disturbance last year is not allowed anymore on the Kutztown University campus. So that's a good thing. So you won't have that interference. And again, I showed you this rover thing. So I'll send you the directions that Al gave me too, if you're interested in that. We can change that rover experiment. He says this will make it a little bit easier. So I think it would be nice for Al to have something to do, right, Rolf? Have him get all the materials. Okay. What's the same? Okay, what's the same is Tony, as the director, provides the expectations for all of us, the students, the teachers, the interns, and the volunteers. And we're asking him to bring his own style to this. Stephanie had a very commanding style. We were all scared to death of her, but Tony has a different way of working. So that's good. And wherever the STEMIA team can provide support, that's what we will do. We will have district people popping in and out. I do ask them to notify me. I don't want them on campus unless we know they're there. So they do know they have to notify me. Event, I'm going to need your contact information, same as last year, name, current address, social security number, but I'll get that from you when we meet in person. And that's so we can provide the 1099s and any other follow-ups. We're going to need to plan some time for team building, just as we did last year. We had the cornhole, we had board games. You remember well, we had a couple of thunderstorms. So we needed to make sure that we had things inside for the kids to do as well as outside. So we need to be respectful of the weather. And Steve, last year we had the mobile planetarium.
Yeah, I actually, as I was looking through the agenda, I was wondering about that because I hadn't heard anything up to this point. So obviously I haven't reached out to my IU about borrowing that. So I honestly, at this point, don't know the availability of that. Summer is typically when they do a lot of their work as far as just going through and updating and maintenance. Yeah. So I can reach out to them if you're interested in that.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, then I will definitely do that because I think it was a positive thing that we didn't have huge groups of students over there, but the students that went seemed to really enjoy it. So I'll reach out to the IU either tomorrow or very early next week.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve. I thought it was a very, nice addition. And the students that I had talked to went through thought it was quite useful. And I think one of the things we need to go ahead and do is get that information out to more of the students as well too. I'm not so sure that that many of them knew exactly what that was. So perhaps we can
We
go
can do
and
better on that,
go
yeah.
and get it, please.
And yeah, I would definitely agree. The one thing I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be repetitive, because I know that we also spent time in Kutztown's planetarium as well. So I wanted to make sure that the experience was going to be different enough that the kids weren't feeling that they were just hearing the same things over and over again. But like I said, the feedback that I received is pretty positive.
You
Well, the
bet. And for the limited number that I spoke with, so my database is relatively small, but I got nothing but great news for that. So go for it, please.
Yeah, I have reached out to Honey Svoboda, who is our contact at Kutztown, to find out about the planetarium night. So we're still working through that. So there shouldn't be any issues. We have already reserved a space downstairs in the academic building where we could have the mobile planetarium. As I said, there's no other group on that side of the campus, so we wouldn't have any distractions or interference as we did last year.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because they literally unplugged the fan from the planetarium and were using it to dry because it was so wet. They were drying off some of their books and things. So they actually took the fan that inflated the planetarium. So that's good news. I appreciate it, because it was kind of on me. I was the one that signed that out for the IU. So had anything happened to that planetarium, I was kind of on the hook for that one.
I know, we were too. Believe me, we were too. So, and they're not allowed, we're the only camp that is allowed to be in the Lehigh dorm this summer. No other groups are allowed there. So that's a good thing. So we're going to be ourselves. We don't have
The
to,
dorm, it's all those dorms.
but on the, yeah.
Not in our
all those
building,
dorms,
yeah, any of those dorms.
In those 3 dorms, we're the only camp allowed to be in there. So we won't have any of the distractions. At nighttime, there was some cursing, some drinking, some other stuff. So we don't have to worry about that this year. Okay, we did have time for team building activities such as the cornhole, etc. So we're going to need some donations. If anybody has anything that they would like to donate to the cause, you can have it back at the end of the sessions. But unfortunately, my children are 50 and 46, so I don't have any more of their toys left. So if we have some puzzles, we do have a cornhole we can bring. But we would like to have some other things for the kids to do. So if you have any suggestions, we're definitely looking for suggestions as well. And we are going to use Remind for communications, right, Tony?
Yes. Remind will be fine.
Okay. So any questions so far? All right. So interns, you're going to be assisting where needed. And again, your instructors will give you lots of valuable feedback and information, I'm sure. Something that I need, if you would like a new shirt for this year, can you let me know by Friday? Because I have to order them, the size. And we're going to have a bigger logo this year. Mike Orban, who's one of our STEM YEA team members, said the logo was too small. So the back will be the same, but the front will be a little bit bigger. And at some point, you're going to give me your name and current mailing address. And then I'd like you to start going through the student manual and deciding which are the modules you're going to teach. Maybe it's the ones from last year, maybe it's different ones. And you'll work with Tony on that. But just make sure that I get any changes so that I can get information inserted into the final copy and get it printed at Staples. I'll need that by June 26th.
And let me iterate something to you, to all of your interns, you interns there. As I like to say, when I deal with people in the company, nobody's got a monopoly on good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some ideas on things, and I'm sure everyone I hear, I don't care who you are, you've got a perspective that is useful. So please let us know. If you got an idea on something, tell us. We would, and we'll evaluate it. You've got a lot of good information. You got a lot of insight. Please let us know. Thank you.
And being so much younger, the kids love the interns because they feel
Don't go there, Gwen. Don't go there.
They feel that they can really talk to the interns. They swap music, there's all kinds of things that go on, which is great. We love it. We love it. So it's great to have that interaction. You may remember Anu and Anna from last year, the Mongolian interns. They're not able to be with us this year, but they are still in touch with Nancy. I don't know if you remember Nancy. She was one of the students who couldn't speak English. So Anna and Anu are still texting with her. Nancy's learning Mongolian. Anna and Anu are learning how to speak Spanish. So they're still in touch, and I don't know about any of the others, but there's a bond that grew up among those three young ladies. What I like is the fact that we don't have all male, all female. We have such a variety. And our class this year is amazingly diverse. I think you're going to really be thrilled with the kids because they're very diverse. Every time I get a new registration, I'm just amazed. So it looks like they're all going to be supported well by their Rotary clubs as well. And something you may not know, we have started a Rotary scholarship, STEM scholarship. So Dr. Michael Seidner, who you may remember from last year, had this idea last summer that we should start a scholarship program. So we have, from this first STEM class, the 2022 class, will be available we're not sure how much it'll be, but some kind of financial allotment towards a STEM student to go to college. So we're trying to grow that as well as we can. So it's just another great thing that the STEM team has come up with.
Issue I'd like to raise. One of the issues that came up when we interviewed students last year, some of them were disappointed that they were in the same group for the whole 4 days. So became very familiar with the 10 or 15 kids in their group, but the rest of the kids, you really only saw them at lunchtime and, here, there, and the other thing. So one of the questions was, can you mix these groups up so that like every day you might be in a slightly different group, where the group would change in the, membership day to day. So I got to meet more of the kids, not just the first group that I started with the whole time. I don't know if that's practical or not. It may not be practical. That's what you folks know about. But if there's a way that you can mix it up so that I would not be with the same 15 kids or 10 kids the whole 4 days, that might be a good thing. So I'll throw that out there for comment.
So that's up to Tony and the teachers
Right.
as to how to manage that. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Since everybody is here who is familiar with the program, you were talking about activities for them if it is, bad weather and they're inside. I don't know if this would be too juvenile, but I have an insane amount of Legos, like in this giant bag that like spreads out.
Yeah.
I would be happy to bring those. I don't know if that is anything that would, engage the
Yeah.
students or.
That's
I'm
fine. We actually have a table in the lobby where
Mhm.
they did some puzzles there last year. And my grandkids are crazy about Legos too. And my
I
nephew.
have like a big, it's almost like a rug and it rolls out and then you cinch it up and it makes a bag.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
I'm happy to bring that if you think.
Wait a minute. I can tell you, there is no age limit on Lego.
I love Lego. Yes.
No, I think that's great. Anything
Okay.
like that can engage them. Most times we try to get them outside, but there's always those couple of kids that don't want to go out. They want to do puzzles or whatever because they want a little bit of quiet time. And I understand that too. So a couple of us will stay with those kids. So same buildings as last year. You will have the conference room that you had last year in the Bohm Science Building. And for Ruthie and Sean, it's a nice big conference room. We can get it locked at night. You can keep your stuff in there. So as a former teacher, I don't want anybody touching my stuff, but your stuff will be safe. So you have a place to keep your stuff. So other questions? So we didn't scare you away yet, Zach and Sky, did we?
Yeah, Gwen was quite concerned that I was going to come to this meeting, and in fact, that I might scare you away. So if I said anything to the contrary, please disregard it.
No joke.
We'll have a great time. I absolutely, we've had a good time, and you will have a good time. Those that have been there previously, I think, will go ahead and corroborate what I'm saying.
Yeah, here's kind of a fun thing too. We have a set of twins coming this year. I've already mentioned to their mom they need to be in different groups, but their former teacher is the one who suggested them. So she's coming as a volunteer. Teresa Grazek, who is the grandmother of Kylie Grazek. Kylie was in our program in 22. Her sister Amelia is coming this year. So the grandmother's coming back to volunteer. So we have repeat people who aren't Rotarians who are coming in to volunteer. So it's a great promotion for the program. We do have the opportunity for an in-person meeting if you're interested in walking through Bohm again. That's on June 24th at 4:30. So again, I would say let Tony and me know if you're available for that. That would give us the opportunity to walk through the rooms, see what the rooms are like. Again, you'll work with Tony on which modules you're going to teach. They don't have to be in order 1 through 9, as we know from last year. You can do them in whatever order you want. And same with the project building sessions. It's all up to you. So same way that you work with Stephanie, you know, you choose what you're going to do and just make sure that you work with Tony on that.
When can I'd sent out, maybe it didn't get received, I don't know, but to the teachers who were there last year, Gwen and I talked, and you may have had a couple of modules that you taught that you felt very passionate about and you're experienced with them. If you have a preference based on something you taught in the last year or so, please reach out to me. Because it would probably make sense that you teach that again, because of course, if you do it a second time around, you're probably even going to be more effective with it. So please let me know when we're trying to decide who's teaching which modules. If you're an existing teacher from last year, let me know if you had a preference regarding a module that you'd like to teach again.
And as always, you're always welcome to come for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's no charge for any of that. If you want to stay over, you can stay over. We have the same nurse as last year. We have the same doctor and the same Lehigh dorm.
You're staying in a dorm, there's no charge for anything.
Yeah. So just let us
And I
know.
might add, I don't remember how many of you actually attended the last dinner, what we call our celebration dinner, when we bring all the parents and relatives, and we have the kids actually put a display up and actually talk about what they wound up doing, sort of like a trade show, and say, this is what we wound up doing. And I found that to be ever so rewarding, to have the kids talk about what they wound up doing. And I look forward to that. If you haven't seen that before, it's really a very nice effort.
Science fair, basically a science fair kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Science fair kind of thing.
It'll be in the main dining hall upstairs in one of the back rooms there. There's a couple different rooms. So we will have to transport things across from home to the dining hall. We had about 185 at the dinner last year. Darlene and I are working on it, and we figure about 215 this year. I think, Lauren, you attended, and Emily. So it's going to be a different location, but it'll probably be the same kind of menu. It's a great experience. We have our district governor, who happens to be the vice president at Jefferson Hospital. So she's going to be giving a speech. It'll be her 14th day in office. So she'll be a new district governor. And we have Tony will be giving out these certificates. We give each child a certificate. They get their picture taken with the district governor, and of course with the district flag. And instead of the planetary finder this year, we have a nice, beautiful poster that we're giving each child that has all the planets. So it's a nice little gift for them. But the parents always want pictures afterwards with the district governor, with their Rotary Club representatives, whatever. So it's a very joyful evening. However, I always end up in tears. So, because I hate to see the kids go. Because I'm the first one that they meet in registration. So I have all the mom stories, and the moms are just so overwhelmed at times by their child being accepted in the program like this. We have several students again this year who are not native speakers. We've been working with them. We have, I think, 5 from the Newcomer Academy in Allentown. So
recognize that really this is an opportunity for these kids. I just want to reiterate it, and this is why we put it together, was for these are the kids that probably would not have an opportunity to go ahead and do something like this. We use the term rather loosely or guardedly, whichever way you want to look at it, for being underserved. It's not that their parents, they're capable of providing this kind of education, this kind of involvement. There are plenty of science programs around all over the place. They're expensive, and those that can pay for them, they're great. We're just trying to provide what would not ordinarily have been available to this group of children. So thank you for participating in that.
And you will get a chance to meet Julie Ambrose. She's a member of the Allentown Rotary Club. She's now on the staff at Da Vinci. So we were at the Da Vinci opening and we were at the Da Vinci preview. If you haven't been to Da Vinci yet, you need to go there. It's fabulous. And Julie will be there with us on Sunday, so you might have a chance to talk with Julie. They do have special programs that you might want to look at for your own schools. So there's some opportunities there, I think, for all of us to learn. And actually, the Allentown Club has an exhibit upstairs. It's in the area where we have the otters. It's back against the wall. They have a snake and a turtle. So a little exhibit up there. So lots of good opportunities to network. Okay, so next steps, Dr. Tony?
Do we want to, I don't know if we want to survey the group, if we know if the people are coming on June to the in-person meeting at the Kutztown campus?
Sure. So those who are available and interested. So Ruthie's coming.
I'll be there.
What
Right.
day and time is it again?
It's
Thank
June,
you. That's what I was going to ask.
June 24th at 4:30.
What day of the week is June
It's a
24th?
Monday.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, Sean. Okay, so I have Ruthie and Sean.
I'm on vacation that week, so I do not know if I'm going to be able to attend, unfortunately.
Okay,
I don't know if it's necessary because I went to school there, so I'm very familiar with the building, but I am available that day if you think I should be there.
I think it'd be valuable if you could be. I realize you know the site, you know.
Okay.
But I think it'd be valuable if you could be there.
so you could meet Ruthie and Sean.
Okay, yeah, then I can be there.
Okay,
I think I need to work out some logistics, but I think I should be able to get there.
okay,
But I will send a confirmation, solid confirmation later.
great. All right, well,
Yeah,
after
I
we
will
check any other.
I will not be in the area or
Okay,
in the state at that point. So
Steve and Adam, did you have any input as far as the rooms were concerned? Like preferences or anything? Because if we'd make decisions that day or start to make decisions, did you have any input that you'd like to share? Like where you thought it worked best for you to deliver a certain lesson?
I mean, Steve, you can speak on this. I mean, if they give lab tables are always safe for no matter what you're doing.
Right.
You can work from a lab table on graphs, or you can do large labs on them. So I'd stay away from the little desk rooms, like more the lecture style. Look for more of the full labs.
Yeah, it was interesting because the rooms that were available to us last year, I think, changed last minute based on the fact that there was cleaning that was taking place. There were some people that were retiring and leaving, and their things were still kind of boxed up in some of the rooms. Tony, if I would be able to do the same sessions that I did before numbers 3 and number 9, I would appreciate that. Like I said, if you look at the sessions, some of them just require lab tables, to Adam's point. Like session number 3 with the stream tables definitely needs to be in a lab room. I was in the room that was kind of all the way in the left-hand side of the hallway. But the other one was perfectly fine in one of those other rooms. So it really, you have to kind of match the activity to the room just based on what they have available. Brandy, what room? I know that Lauren had a room that had lab tables. Brandy, what kind of room were you in?
we do have that extra lab room this year. The professor has retired and all of his rocks are gone.
He took his rocks and went home. It will definitely help, like I said, to have that lab room, because we even swapped out. I think Brandy needed to have that. So the first day I used the lab for mission 3, but then she did a different one, and that's when I moved over into the room that Adam was in. So we just kind of rotated based on the needs of the particular session that we were running.
Adam, did you have any preferences as far as modules that you like to teach?
I would say, Steve, I'm sorry, Tony, I tried to respond to your email, but I kept getting kicked back.
Okay.
I did the 5 and 6 last year, and I mean, that's what I teach. It's literally 2 lessons I run.
Okay.
So if I could do those again, that'd be fantastic. But
that helps. That helps. I'm sorry you couldn't get back to me. I don't know. Something must have happened. I don't know. But thank you. That's good input.
So I
And-
don't know which ones Lauren did. Lauren, the teacher.
Yeah. Just looking at this.
I'm gonna just take a quick. I'm gonna bring this up in another window. I'm gonna see if I can figure out which ones were the ones that she did.
Okay.
Didn't she do the greenhouse effects?
That was, and then the magnetosphere, which is one of them. I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna page through them really quickly, and I can
Okay.
see if I remember which one she did.
But she said she would give us any materials extra that she had created. We have the lesson plan. So Tony, maybe you can send Brandy a note directly to see which ones, because we have,
You know what? Brandy's from Boyertown, right?
yeah. Oh, she's reconnecting.
I couldn't send anything to Brandy because her email was at Boyertown School District, which was shut down.
That's
So
right.
she didn't get my message, I know.
That's true. That's true.
You're muted, Brandon.
Lauren is the teacher that's not coming back, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So Brandy, we're just talking about modules. Who taught which modules?
Yeah,
Laura-
I did number 1 and I did number 8.
Did you prefer to teach those again, Brandy?
I would love to. I really loved number 8 because I did revamp that a little bit, and I did. Steve and I shared the lab, and that second day I took over the lab and did like a DNA extraction, and the students seemed to really enjoy that.
So we have 1, we don't have 2, we have 3, we don't have 4, we have 5, 6, we don't have 7, and we have 8 and 9.
Lauren definitely did 4.
Okay.
So there's 3 modules still available, which would be 2, 4, and 7. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
One, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I don't know if we did all of them last year.
We did not.
That's what I thought. Yeah, because there's just so much content.
Yeah, each of us did 2, so there was one that was not taught.
Yeah. Well, now we have the opportunity to do more.
With 5 teachers, do we plan to teach all the modules this year? Is that the thinking, or?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because
And
not
there-
all
there
the
was-
students got to all the modules. Like there were some groups of students I never saw.
Correct. Correct. Yeah,
Yes, they got the opportunity to do 4 of them total. They did one in the morning, they did one in the afternoon, and then they did the same thing the second day. So I believe they did a total of 4.
Total of 4 altogether.
Was it 4, or did they do 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon? I can't remember exactly how many they did, Brandy or Adam. Do you guys remember?
I'll look at the schedule.
That would be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have.
I almost wonder if they did 3, like 1, and then maybe they had 2, and then lunch, then 1 more after lunch.
We had choice session 1 from 9 to 10:30, choice session 2 from 10:40 to 12:10, project session in the afternoon, team building, and then another choice section. So that looks like there were 3 on Friday.
3 the first day.
And then let's see, on Thursday, here's session 1, another project building session, another choice. So there's 1, 2, 3. So it looks like 3 on the second day.
So they would have done 6 out of the 8.
It looks like that, yeah.
The last 2 days, didn't it, Benny?
There's a lot of project building sessions.
On the last 2 days.
Yeah, the last days. And the last day is a short one because they finish at 2:40, go back and clean up the dorm.
Right, for Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, so there's not as much time.
And Gwen,
And I'm not sure about Brandy and Adam, but
don't I? Yes,
Yes,
I have that. I have to go back to that and
Yeah.
look at.
you have the schedule, yes.
The project building session, so that's where they are working on what they will display on the dinner.
Yes.
Is that what? Okay.
And
I'm
also,
just trying to just wrap my head around
yeah,
what do we want to do. Do we want to pick more popular modules then, if there's more of us? If they can't do them all, do we want to offer them all, or I don't know what they liked more, obviously, just from looking at it, but from teachers from last year, if they didn't get to experience everything, does it make more sense if, as teachers, some of us do the same ones so that more kids can do them because they're more popular, or should we try to get all the modules in, I guess is my question.
I don't know how much choice there was in the choice sessions last year. I
wasn't.
think they were pretty much assigned sessions
They
to
were.
go to because they traveled in those groups that were mentioned. So it wasn't even so much that they were picking, it was kind of chosen for them ahead of time.
Yeah.
So the term choice session is deceptive. You had them assigned to rotate.
Yes, yes.
Okay, they were pre-assigned. Okay.
It was
Correct.
Stephanie's idea that they were going to have choice, but at the end, she had no way to work through that. So they were assigned. She decided to have groups of 15, and then she kept the groups, tribes, together. So group 1, group 2, they always traveled together. So
And the group here that was there before, it's better just to assign students rather than calling it a choice session. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's one way. I mean, here's the reality is that even if you're going to assign them, you could mix the kids up for the learning stations, but
Mhm.
it's very important that for those project sessions that they're together because they're going to be coming back to the same groups because
Right.
those projects aren't created individually, they're created in groups. So those project sessions really need to be the same group of kids coming back to work on a project that they may have already started.
Right. And Sean, just for your information, the project is, how do I get to Mars? What do I need to get to Mars? So that's why they have to work together on it. What kind of communication devices, what kind of transportation, all that good stuff. So, and the STEM is supposed to teach them, here are some theories you can use to help you get there. So I see.
And are the teachers facilitating the project sessions?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
absolutely. Yes.
And that wasn't clearly communicated last year. We didn't realize it, which is why we weren't worried about the materials for the project sessions. And then we got there and we're like, oh yeah, you're running those as well. And so that, like I said, it's just good to know going in this time because then the expectations are clear on our part.
So I want to make sure we have a good list of materials.
Okay, so we have a list of the materials that were needed to work through those project sessions.
I believe Stephanie has the list, and I think Rolf, you may have had the list, right?
Yeah, it's almost
Yes.
makerspace-esque. There are certain materials that they need because there are certain ones that they design. For example, the rover, unless we're making changes. But for the station that they create, the model of the station, that there were all different types of materials that the kids could use. And I like that because it didn't limit their creativity.
Yeah, true. And some made them more artistic and.
I've been saying this over and over, and I will absolutely do it this weekend, is I have all of that material in my office, and I will go ahead and lay it all out on the floor as to showing the numbers of what we have and what we need to go ahead to augment what is there already. I will absolutely do that this weekend and get it to you guys.
So I just want to take a minute and introduce Aditi. She's another one of our interns for this year. So Aditi, can you take a minute and tell us about yourself?
Yeah, of course. It's my pleasure to do so. And again, I'm sorry, Dwindly, I had some internet connectivity issues, but hi, everyone. I'm glad that I have this great opportunity to share more about myself with all of you. Currently, I am an incoming college sophomore at Drexel University. So I guess I ended up somewhere local to where I was and just very familiar with the campus and area. But I've been connected with Rotary for a number of years. I think it'll be 4 years at this, 5 or 6 years actually at this point. But I got introduced in high school and I was part of the district competition with the speech, the 4-way test. So I placed in the finals there. And I think that was, I guess, one of the main things that I got started with. And I think based on what I'm hearing from our discussion right now, I'm seeing a lot of similarities with Camp Nidec, which is something else I was a part of. So I'm very glad to be returning back, this time behind the scenes instead of being impacted by Rotary itself. So I'm very excited to be working with all of you in July. So I think I'm looking forward to making this a very memorable experience for the kids, just like the impact Rotary has had on me. So
So Aditi's being a little shy. She actually was in Camp Niding, which is our leadership camp for children, youth going from their junior year into their senior year. So it's a great leadership experience. Students are chosen for that. So from there, she went on to Drexel. She's studying to be a doctor. And I think she sort of stalked us for a couple of years. So I didn't know anything about it. And then all of a sudden we get this email from her. Ralph did. And he said, who is this person? Now, why is she stalking us? So then we reached out to her and we found out that she had been watching our STEM program for a couple of years, thinking about it. So we never know what kind of impact we're going to have.
Yeah, I actually came to know of STEM YEA through NIDIG. I think when I went through NIDIG, it was just developing. So I looked through the website and I was like, okay, this program has been there for a couple years, so I wanted to see what I could contribute to it as well.
Yeah. So once you get hooked on Rotary, it's yeah. So we're looking forward to having you.
right?
Yeah. Okay. So I think we have some questions answered about the modules, right, Tony?
Yeah, and so it sounds like when at the in-person session, it's going to be Ruth, Sean, Lauren, and Sky, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that helps. That helps for the modules. Yes. Yes.
And Honey will be with us that day, so we'll confirm the classrooms. Now, on the schedule that I have, she just lists the classroom. She doesn't say who's in there, but I think it would be good if we could, well, actually, she does list who's in there. She has Ecology Lab 109 is Steve, Geology Lab 130, but I guess they were not available. We only have one lecture hall listed here. So I guess when we got there, the rocks were still there. So no rocks this year. I did look in there. Okay.
There was also an activity that we did, a kickoff activity that we did out in the field just to give them the idea of size of the solar system. We modified that one quite a bit from the original intent just because the amount of content and the things we were trying to explain. So it would be good if we'd have an opportunity, just the instructors to be able to get together to kind of discuss that opening activity at some point, just so we can kind of brainstorm, because with new people coming in, I'd love to hear their ideas as well. And maybe there are things that we could do to make that even better.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
Also, the numbers we had, it'd be nicer to maybe split that into 2 groups and do it 2 separate sessions.
Yeah, last year what happened, not all the kids were involved. A lot of kids were sitting on the hill. So you didn't have as much involvement as I would really like to see. And that's S1 Icebreaker, Intro to Mars. That's an hour and 10 minutes. So I think you could break it into 2 groups. There's plenty of space there.
I mean, the first year when we did that, they had all the kids out on the field and they, take so many steps, and they said, okay, you first 10 kids, you stay here because you're in the moon now. And the next group would take so many more steps. Now the next 10 kids, you stay here, you're now on Venus. And then, so they had the whole group out on the field participating, as opposed to 6 or 10 kids participating, and everybody else kind of watching and talking to each other and really not staying focused. So
Well, I was just thinking that would be kind of neat if we could assign the students even a planet for that, and that way it would, be a group and like all of you are Venus, and then you could have the discussion of where you think that would be located. It'd be a nice way to divide it up.
Yep.
And have them be a bigger group. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
yeah, I do.
So when you got to the Venus steps, all the Venus people are stopping at this point.
Yeah.
Now everybody else keep going, and then
that's what we did the first year.
Yeah.
At Albright, yeah, that's what we did.
And existing teachers, are you saying that no classrooms that are like lecture halls are really, that's not ideal? It should be more of a lab type classroom. Is that correct?
Lab type classrooms are going to be helpful for many of the teaching sessions and truly all of the project sessions, so that they have a surface to work on. That part is really helpful, when they're trying to build their models, or it was helpful for them to actually have a physical surface to work on.
Yes.
And the collaboration piece, like sitting at the big lab tables, it was easier for groups to collaborate.
Yeah, some of the kids were sitting on the floor in some places, so.
Okay.
So what we do when we go that day, Tony, we'll mark out the rooms.
Yes. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm picturing this more and more as we continue to talk through it.
And Tony's had the opportunity to walk through with us, but just pretty quickly. Sounds like we have some action items. So I'm gonna respect that all of you will get me any information that you want me to add to the student manual by June 26th, so I can get that printed. If you have any other questions, you'll always be back to us right away. And a couple of us are going to meet on the 24th at 4:30. Aditi, we talked about this. We'll be at Kutztown that afternoon if you're interested in joining us. It's not mandatory, but it will give you a chance to see the space. And I'll work with Honey on the planetarium. Yes.
I'm just wondering, will students have, last year they had like notebooks that they were able to journal or write data in and reflect in. Will they still have those?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And safety equipment. Like I know for my DNA lab, I like them to have safety goggles. Did students receive those last year or do we have those available?
We did not purchase them.
Okay.
So let me find out about that. What they have in their backpack is a plastic water bottle. No metal water bottles this year. Anybody met anybody else in the head? We have the pens. They have pens they can write with. They have the STEM YEA lab book. They have crayons, coloring pencils that they can use with a sharpener. They have, what else?
The
is
journal.
I said the journal, the STEM YEA lab
Okay,
book.
And again, they will all have lab coats.
Yeah, they're gonna have lab coats. Yeah. What else is in there? And the regular manual.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regular manual. So you would prefer that they had safety goggles?
I think I brought last year, so I don't mind doing that again. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure I knew what materials I was gathering up.
Yeah, I don't think we
We
purchased
did
them.
not.
That I
Okay.
know. Yeah. And they get the t-shirt.
T-shirt.
Okay. Adam, anything else you can think of? No? Brandy? Conlon? No? Sky, I know we're giving you the fire hose a little bit, you know. How about Zach? No? Lauren, as a veteran? Okay, Steve Rhodes. I'm sorry, Steve Burnham couldn't be with us tonight. He was supposed to log in, but he had to run a board meeting, I think.
It's less confusing with one Steve, so that's good.
He has sort of
I think we've gotten the opportunity to talk about a lot of the pieces. Like I said, I think just knowing, at least for Adam, Brandy, and myself, it's going to be easier because we've been through it one time. And to Tony's point, it's just going to make it that much easier for us, and we'll be able to share our experiences. But like I said, I'm looking forward to working with some new people too, because they're going to bring fresh ideas.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. How about projectors, computers, all that good stuff? We didn't talk about that. Do we need a projector in each room?
I mean, I'd say that's helpful.
Okay.
I think last year we were able to access using our own computers.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what we did. Cause I know most of us, like I had a very, very brief slideshow that I used just more for keeping the kids on track than anything. But so if we do have availability of rooms with projectors, it's a plus.
Okay. I know there was one room where the projector was broken. We had to replace that.
And I think that we had like a guest Wi-Fi password maybe we could use.
Yeah, we'll get
everybody,
that. We'll get
you'll
that.
have that for the whole time, whole 4 days there.
Okay. How about Ruthie? Questions?
I think I'll get them answered on the 24th. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Sean?
No, I think I'm good too. I'm looking forward to mostly coming to the 24th just for my own anxiety. Like I like to know where I'm going.
I do
So,
too.
like,
Yeah.
just
I
show
like,
up.
I like to see the room. I can't do it unless I see the
Exactly.
room.
Yeah. I'm ready for anything. So if there's modules or anything that, I should that the team wants, like steer me towards the other ones, and I'll focus and get ready for those ones. So especially since being one of the new people on the block. So I'm very excited for it.
Okay, Tony, anything else?
No, I think we'll be able to answer a lot of questions on the 24th. I'd like to try to, once we're there and we can finalize the module teaching, if that's okay. If we won't have that finalized till, the 24th, I think, if that's okay.
No, it's fine. You guys are the experts. You'll be fine. Aditi, I know you came in on the end, but I did record this, so I'll send you a link.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay. And Professor Schlake.
I've babbled enough, but I just want to go ahead and say I welcome you all and thank you all for your participation. And the kids will also very much appreciate it. Thank you.
They do. Yeah, I'm going to bring brochures so that you can see the kinds of materials that we hand out too. I think you'll be interested in seeing that. Gary?
I think we hit everything. I threw out that point about mixing the teams up because I heard a couple of kids comment about that. Please don't take that too heavily. I mean, I didn't think about it. Obviously, if you're working in groups, you can't mix kids up because your projects are based in groups. So I just threw that out there as a thought. Please don't dwell on that. Do it the best way to do it for the kids.
Well, there is one time that we can mix them up, and that is during the team building activities.
Yeah, there you go.
So we could do some activities there, switch up the groups. So that wouldn't impact the projects. So that's what we can do. And they all have that at the same time.
Right.
So only because when I started teaching, I had 45 kids in one room with me. So I'm used to coming up with plan B. And they were 8th graders, and I'm 5 foot tall. So it was fun. Okay. Last comments or questions? All right. Well, thank you all very much. Looking forward to working with you. Again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. And I hope Boyertown gets back on track pretty soon. Do you have use for you still can't
Oh, that was so chaotic. And that's why I'm on my phone, because I don't have my work computer.
Yeah.
And that's why I popped off for a second because my phone died.
Yeah.
And then I'm using a Chromebook. I feel like I'm typing with Tyrannosaurus Rex hands because they're so close together.
Yeah.
And I was planning on, our computers went out on their lease, so they're renewing them. So I was purchasing it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to get it back now since.
Yeah, I know. Stephanie's in the
It's been in
same
the hot zone.
It is a hot zone. Yeah, Stephanie's in the same position. She's lost everything. So
Yes.
it's a mess. Okay. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you
For having you.